This is Phillies Postgame Live, presented by Cure Auto Insurance. I'm Michael Barkan, Ricky Bottalico, Ruben Amaro Jr. in a moment from Denver. This is just a bad brew right now with this Phillies team. It's inexplicable why they're failing to hit Ricky Bo, why they're failing to pitch as they need to. And we can say what we want about Aaron Nola. He looked improved. Here's a stat for you. 27 home runs allowed by Aaron Nola since May of last season. That's tied for the most in the National League. He gave up his fourth home run tonight in, 3 starts, 4 home runs. So that's the pitching end of it. And the hitting is just completely...
The hitting's lost.
Disappeared.
I'm trying not to be bothered by this because I'm trying to think that these guys are all veterans and everything's just going to fall into place. It's not falling into place right now. And the one thing that's bothersome about this offense is that they're not looking for their pitches. They're swinging at pitchers' pitches. You think about it, there was a 9-pitch inning in this game by Cool, a 9-pitch inning again, and a 5-pitch inning. So 3 out of his innings were under 10 pitches. That's telling me you're just going up there to swing and go through the motions. I want to see these guys get their pitches, drive through some pitches. And the biggest key is that you keep saying to yourself, well, this guy's been around, he's going to hit to his average. This guy's been around, he'll get back to his average. Is that the truth? I mean, is it really going to happen?
We don't know.
That's the thing we're running into right now. And on top of it, you go into Colorado, a very good place to hit, a very good place that you would think you could gain some confidence. And the Phillies put up 5 hits, 4 singles.
Only
4
two.
singles.
4 singles and only 2 hits until the 8th inning. That's when they got the other 3 in their lone run.
Let me put this a little bit more into perspective. The Rockies, this game was 4-1, right? The Rockies were 1 for 11 with runners in score position. This game could have been a lot worse.
It could have. Let's go out to Colorado right now, check in Denver with Ruben Amaro Jr., who called this game with Tom McCarthy. Rube, I know you've been there as a player and you've been there as a general manager. I know as a GM, you've paced around your fair share when your team's not doing what you want it to do. And as you said, they're just not getting it done. But why? Can you explain it at all?
Well, I think it's a combination of things, and it's got to be really frustrating for the hitters. They're just not in a rhythm or in a groove right now. And Chad Kuhl threw the ball well, and he should get some credit. But this is a much better hitting team than we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, you can give as much credit. You're absolutely right. Kuhl threw the ball extremely well, but this is a lineup that should be destroying the baseball. And my biggest problem is that how is this happening? That it's not one guy. It's pretty much a collective group, and you just think that they're attacking fastballs, and then obviously they're not getting those pitches that they want.
Yeah, and you've seen this, Ricky, as a player. You've seen this as an analyst. I mean, things can snowball either way. They can start snowballing really, really positively, and they can snowball the other way. And I think that's kind of what's happened a little bit. And again, some of the guys in the clubhouse may not say, "Hey, we're not pressing," but it's possible because I mean everybody wants to try to do their jobs well, and I know that they want to do well. I know that they're trying to do well, and they work at it all the time. I know K-Long has been working with these guys nonstop. I mean, there's nobody who puts more time in the cage than K-Long. So, I think it's just a matter of, being able to get into a rhythm. They haven't been able to do that, and hopefully it happens soon because it's early, but it's getting late early.
Yeah, you're right, Rube, and they're now 4-7 for the first time to start the season at 4-7 since 2017. They've assured themselves of a losing road trip. Even if they take the next 2 games at Colorado, they will have a losing road trip. And as Tom said to you at the end of the game, Tom McCarthy, 6th game now with 3 runs or fewer. If you're a general manager of this team, and you have been, or you're the manager of this team and you're in Joe Girardi's shoes, what's either position to do to try to turn this around?
I think you just have to ride it out. I mean, there is some level of patience you have to have. I mean, I know there's the fan base and everybody wants these guys to, hit a home run after home run, and there's no question that these guys can do it and have done it. And it's on the back of their, baseball cards. There's no question about it. But you got to kind of ride it out and hope that these guys, right the ship and they get a little bit more consistent and they relax a little bit, because I think there may be some times when guys, the tensions get a little high and they're not swinging at pitches and having the kind of at bats they typically would have. I still feel very confident that this is going to be a very good offensive team. There's no question in my mind that that'll happen. But hopefully it happens sooner rather than later.
Man, from your lips to the baseball god's ears. My goodness. All right, Ruben, we'll check you tomorrow. Appreciate it as always. Thank you.
Absolutely, guys.
Ruben Amaro Jr. in the booth in Colorado. We'll talk to him tomorrow with Tommy. And Ricky Bo, it's as if I'm not looking at guys in this lineup named Real Muto, Harper, Castellanos, Hoskins, Schwarber. Bohm's batting over 500, but, he's not going to keep that up. Segura. I mean, these guys are beyond professional hitters. They're 2 Silver Slugger Award winners in there. That's saying something.
The other thing you have to look at, you have Stott and Veerling at the bottom of the order. Is that working for you, right? If you're Joe Girardi, you're asking yourself that type of question tonight. Is this working for us? Is this going to be the trip where, okay, are we going to be able to get these guys enough at-bats? I think that's a question that they're going to be asking themselves. And when you look at the middle of the lineup tonight, nothing. You really got absolutely nothing from the middle of the lineup. You saw Bryce Harper early on in the ball game. I mean, rip one up the middle. I was thinking this is going to be a big breakout game for Bryce, and all of a sudden he started happy feet again in the box, and he's got to get to a point where he's comfortable, and I'm talking balance point in the box. He's not very comfortable right now, and you could see it. You could see it on his swings. You'll see him dancing. You'll see him uneven. You'll see him off balance when he's going through his swing. When Bryce Harper is good, he's driving the ball to left center field in the air, or he's getting that down and in inside pitch, just dropping the head on the baseball, but you're not seeing a lot of happy feet when he's doing that. Now when you watch him, you'll see him doing little tiptoes in the batter's box. He's got to get rid of that.
Yeah.
He's got to think back up the middle again.
Also, this is the second time in about as many games, might be 3 games, that Bryce Harper has come to the plate in the late innings, and I think the Phillies' last at bat, and he swung at the first pitch.
Yep.
Now, I'm not saying never swing at the first pitch. I just think it's interesting that he has swung at the first pitch in those situations and made it out.
Well,
versus, we always hear, pick your pitch.
But that's the whole impatience thing. And I think this whole team, the team as a whole, that's where they stand right now. They're thinking, okay, I see a fastball, or at least I think it's a fastball. I'm taking a whack at it. That's why I said, you saw the Alec Bohm at bat earlier in the ball game. It's an 0-0 pitch. It's a sinker in on his hands. You have no business swinging at that pitch 0-0. You should be, if you're Alec Bohm, you should be looking to extend your arms and drive a baseball in that count. Not jam yourself in that count. You should be able to read that out of the pitcher's hand. That's something that it looks like this team is not doing right now.
Back out to Colorado, we check in with Phillies manager Joe Girardi on this loss.
What did you think of Nola tonight? We'll start with that.
Much better, much better. I thought he'd have a bounce back start. The other day he didn't have his command. Today he did. I thought he used all his pitches effectively well. He made the one mistake to Blackman. Besides that, he was pretty darn good.
Did you want to get him out there on a high at 84 pitches?
Well, I think he was up to about 75 before. McMahon had a little success off him. Wanted to get a ground ball. I thought Alvarado was probably as good as anyone. I mean, he's as tough on lefties as anyone. And he did get the ground ball, unfortunately, to the wild pitch before that.
What did you think of Chad Kuhl before he
just stayed off the barrels is what he did. I mean, he either got us off the end or he got us off the little bit of a jam, right? We didn't strike out a ton. He kept it off the barrel of the bat with the movement.
You guys have hit fastballs pretty well. Have you seen teams throw a little more off speed breaking stuff? That appears to be something you're pretty concerned now.
Well, I think our guys will adjust to that too, right? I think that's a lot of that's just the way the game has went, right? You don't have a huge fastball. A lot of guys are throwing a ton of break balls, right? And that's just kind of the way the game has went.
Something you guys have seen a higher percent than about just about anything.
Yeah, we're not swinging the bats well, right? And if something's working, guys are going to stick with it.
Yeah. What do you think of the at bats just generally, collectively? I mean, we talk about a lineup when they're going well, but
I look it off a cool. I mean, it wasn't like we were making first pitch outs. I mean, he was averaging 2 strikes on every hitter. You don't want to get to 3 strikes, but and we weren't fouling balls off. When we hit them, we were putting them in play, and just not with a lot of barrel on it.
Alvarado was clearly wild, and I know we ask you a lot about this, but JT, would you like to see him? He's on the one knee.
I think he did it. I mean, JT's a good blocker. He did the best he could. I mean, you got to understand that's a 92-mile-an-hour slider. You don't see those every day.
Right.
And they're pretty far out front. I mean, when they're shorter, it's easier, but pretty far out front on the plate.
And then Didi and Gene just getting caught in no man's land on that line drive back to Chassin.
Yeah.
Should that?
I mean, you tell them not to get doubled up, but it's bang bang. You take your secondary, and your first movement is usually go, but you hope that they can freeze and get back. Just wasn't able to. I mean, it's not like the line drive had a lot of time to get to the pitcher. If it's to second base or shortstop, it's going to take more time.
You've shuffled the deck a little bit. Shuffled the order a little bit. How do you kind of balance staying the course with kind of shuffling it up to get things going in a different direction?
Well, I mean, I think we're pretty much staying the course. I just kind of separated the left-handers a little bit is all I did, because I thought that we were very vulnerable to that one pocket where their best left-hander was going to see Schwarber and Bryce. I mean, but for the most part, our lineups have been fairly consistent. I mean, Gene was out for 3 days, so you got to shuffle. You can't play guys every day, I mean, I think Didi's played the most games in a row in a sense on the field at 7, right? I mean, that's a lot. But I mean, it will get more consistent as time goes. This guy's getting better shape.